Hello everyone, this is Mohsen AR, and in this video I'm gonna implement this simple UI which I have downloaded from Google, or I guess from Dribble. And I'm gonna implement this UI in Flutter. I will just implement the UI. I will not call any API. I have just downloaded these images and I'll just put images in my application. So now let's start with our first part of this video. And in this part I will create a Flutter application in a terminal, and then I will use VS Code whenever I execute or whenever I test this UI. So I will run this directly to my cell phone. After this video you will find whole source code in GitHub, and you will find the link in description. And one more thing, I want to tell you that I have just changed my channel name. This is my new channel name, which is Code Seeklo. Seeklo is basically Hindi or Urdu word which means to learn. So learn code or code Seeklo. Now let's get started by creating our app in Flutter. So there is a command in Flutter create, and after create we have to choose our application name. So I would use application name food recipe. Okay, so food recipe. So our app is created. Now let's open this app in VS Code. For VS Code we have command code dot, not dot, but let's move in our app folder or app directory. Now type code dot. Dot means the current directory. So currently I am in food recipe directory, which is my app. And for Mac user, if they want to open VS Code like this, so what you have to do, you have to just type you have to just press shift command and P, and type code. Then you will find this first option, shell command install code command and path. So you have to just press enter, and then it will automatically add code in your path. So whenever you write code, it will open your VS Code. Now we are in our main dot file, and this is auto generated code by Flutter. So let's start our demo application in my cell phone. It will take a little bit time to load or to install the app in my real-time cell phone. So let's wait for it. Now our app is loaded. Our app is running in my cell phone. Whenever I click this plus or floating action button, this just increment the number or counter. For our application, I will start from 0, or start from scratch. I just remove this whole code, and for our application, which I'm gonna implement this whole application, so I will start from 0. So let's start by void main. Main method is the entry point. If you guys are from C, Java or C++, or I guess in C sharp. So every language has its entry point. It's a main method. So this is so Dart language also has a entry point. So whenever you start your code will be started from main method, and our application will also start from the main method. And inside the main method we have another method called run app. In the run app, we have to define our flutter stateless widget. This is our class or widget name. I need to create this class. uh, if you guys want to start, or if you guys want to create or write your whole class by yourself, then you can write this by class and class name, extend stateless widget, and then implement a build method or whatever code it is. Okay, if you guys don't want to create whole code and let id or text editor create it for you, then just type stles and go down in the last of suggestion box, then press enter. Then you will get this whole code created by VS Code. You just need to type your class name and press escape. If you don't press escape, then you will find a two cursor whenever you type anything. So two cursors are blinking. For that, we should escape this, and we will get one cursor only. So I will press escape. Now this is our stateless widget class. We will be working on three classes. One is stateless widget class. In that class, we will be using material app, and we will create a second class which will be our home page or a home class. And that class will also be a widget but stateful, and stateful widget will create a state class, and that state class will have a state method. That state method will be called by framework whenever you change your UI. So we will be working three main classes. So one class, this is our first class. And in this class we will have material app. Inside material app there are parameters called parameters or properties called title, and title will be our food recipe app. This is title. And after title we will have a home, and the home we will create another class recipe home page or recipe home. So this should be our stateful class, and for that we will have another shortcut for creating a stateful class. So whenever I type st full and control space, then we will I will get a suggestion box. Inside the suggestion box I have when I click on that shortcut, then it will create whole code for me. And you can see there are 6 cursors, I think so, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yes, there are 6 cursors which are blinking for naming your class. So food recipe home, and press escape. Now we have a class which is a stateful class, and a stateful class creating a state class of type food recipe home class. So now we have 3 main classes. One class is stateless widget, and another class is a stateful widget which create a state class, and third one is a state class which is created by a stateful widget. I will be creating more classes, or you can say I will create more stateless widgets, and that widgets will be called by another widget or another property. So In this tutorial I will be creating classes. For now let's concentrate on these three classes. These three are stateless, stateful, and state class. So stateless class is basically stateless, so it does not have any state. Stateful, that means it's a full of states. So you have to remember by stateless and stateful. The stateful widget will create a state class, and that class means that state class will have a state method, and that method is for changing the UI. Whenever you want to change anything in your UI, you have to write that in state method. So these are three classes. So first of all we will start from our state class. So I am restarting my app, just because of when first we started our app, it was in default code. Then I changed hold or remove whole code and started from zero. So I have to restart my application. So this is our hello widget. Inside we have this app bar. So this is optional. App bar is optional. If you want to have app bar, then you can write app bar and all its property. If you don't want app bar, then you can pass just null. So in our case we don't want app bar, just because I want to implement this UI in Flutter, so I don't need any app bar. Here you can see this UI does not have app bar. So in this part of video I will implement bottom app bar. In bottom navigation bar we have icons. Unselected icons have a gray color, and selected icons selected icon has black color, and below this icon we have a little dot which is showing that this currently we are on this screen. So this dot is showing, or this dot is mentioning that we are this tab is currently activated. So we will implement this dot, and these are unselected icons. So let's start by creating our bottom navigation bar. So bottom navigation bar present in the scaffold. Scaffold has bottom navigation bar property. In bottom navigation bar I will create a stateless widget class separate for bottom navigation bar, just because I don't want create whole code or mess with this class. So I want to create a separate class for bottom navigation bar. Bottom nav bar, and I have to create this class, and this will be my stateless widget. So stles. Okay, so just paste the bottom navigation bar name, and I have this class. Inside the build method I will have all code related to my bottom navigation bar. So here I will return bottom, and for this we need to create items separately as a list. Inside this list we should have bottom navigation bar item. So this is bottom navigation bar item class. In this we have to mention icon for our bottom navigation bar. So we will be using 4 icons here. 4 icons here. We might not have these same icons just because of we will be using material app. So for instead of this icon, I will be using a different icon. So it does not matter whatever icon we have, we just have to create this UI in Flutter. So icon, and then we will use icons dot I will use a restaurant icon. Then I will have a label. In the bottom navigation bar, we also have many other options like unselected icon, unselected item color. Then we will pass a color of unselected item, and I guess this is like a light gray color. Another property, show unselected label true. Selected item color is black, pure black. After that we have show selected label is equal to false, and the current index for testing purpose I will use current index 0. So now we have bottom navigation bar, but we have to change icons and its color to, I guess it's a light color, and we need a color code for this. Paste this code, unselected items color, and then we need to pass a hexa color here, and that will be in an integer. So we have to pass int value, and this is integer value but in hexa form. These are unselected and this is a selected. So now we have items in the bottom navigation bar, and for dot under this icon I will use active icon, and in the active icon I will create a separate widget for this icon, just because whenever I click this I need a dot here, whenever I click this icon I need a separate dot here. So before implementing separate widget for every icon, I need to change icon. Now we have to implement this dot. For that I've already told you that I will create a separate widget for this, and that would be so inside the children of a column I will use icon, and the icon icons dot restaurant icon, and after that I have option or property called size, or this is not a property but this is a widget. So inside that we have a height of 1, and then I will use a container, and the container has property decoration, then box decoration, and inside the box decoration I have a shape, box shape, and there we will use circle, and the color of the circle is colors dot green, then padding, edge, set padding, bottom, and this should be 5, and in the last I will use semicolon. So now you can see we have got green color, or you can set any color, or dark color, black or white or whatever. Not white, just background is already white, so it should be any dark color. So here I have used a green color. So this is our dot which we can see here. If you want to give more gap, then you can use height equal to 3, then you will have more gap. Yes, but I will use only 1. So I have implemented this class, and whenever you select any of icon, so let's say the current index is 1. So one thing you might notice here, that whenever I change any index, and the icon will change to the restaurant icon, just because of we have used a restaurant icon. This is hard coded, but what we want here, we just need to pass the dynamic icon from every active nav bar icon here. So for that I should use variable called icon data, and then icon, and this should be required this dot icon. Now you might notice, or you might think, how would I know this is icon data? Just because whenever you hover your cursor here, then you will find it only takes the icon data widget, which is optional. The question mark is for optional or nullable. I have already posted a video on null safety. You can go and watch that. In that video you will find this question mark operator, which is saying this icon data can be nullable. So whether you are passing or not, it can be nullable. Here we will pass this dot icon, this dot icon, and now we need to pass the same icon from constructor of our class. So it should be like this. Basically my background is from Java, so I thought it will just take this, but not. We have to pass icon property, we have to write icon property, then we have to pass like this, icons dot caterpillar dot book, and for this icon this, and for this icon not search but favorite border. Okay, now let's change index to 1. You can see we have a same icon with the dot. If I change it to 0, okay, so we have implement our navigation bar, but it's not the dynamic. So I want whenever I click this icon, so this icon should be highlighted or selected. For this I need to implement this current select index and on tab function. For this I will move to our state class. State class, yes, this is state class. Here I will create a method called bottom nav on bottom nav icon on tab. Inside this I will use a set state method. This method will change state of our icons. So for that we have to create a and selected index equal to 0. So our starting index will be 0, and what we want here, we want to pass an index from this method, and whenever I tab on any icon, the index will be passed to that tapping method, and that method will change the index of selected whatever index we will be passing here. The selected index will get that index. So we have just implement our on tab method, but we need to pass this method from the state class to our navigation or bottom nav bar class. We want to use our bottom nav bar icon on tab method here in this property. So for that, what we have to do, we have to use, or we have to pass these two method, and this method this method and the selected index from constructor of our bottom navigation bar. So for that we have to write final and index and final value change type int. We will pass int index, so its type is integer, and I've used a question mark here, so this can be optional, or this can be null. Let's say required on tab, not on tab, but this dot on tab, required index, this dot index. So remove this one. Okay, so we have changed our bottom nav bar constructor. For that we are using required here, so for that we have to pass our on tab function, and that will be this one, another index, and that will be selected index, and we will use our this dot on tab and this dot index here. So whenever we click any of the navigation bar icon, this will call this method, bottom navigation bar method, and this method will take integer index, and that index I'm changing the value of selected index, and that selected index I'm passing here, and this index will goes here, and this will change the current index of our icon. So now let's see, will it work or not? Yes. So So it's working. And if you want to check in your console, then print. This is a very old style of debugging of our debugging of a code. So I used to write a print statement in Java. So I'm writing here, and this is not a recommended way of debugging your code. You can use dev tool. In future I will be uploading video on dev tool. So for now, let's open the terminal, and the terminal we have a debug console. Let's clear this console and tap here. You can see the item value index, selected index is a 1, yes, a 0. It will start from a 0, 1, 2, 3. So whenever I write this one, this is a 3, and this will be 0, and this will be 2. So our code is working fine. Let's remove this, and this is not recommended. So I have implemented this bottom navigation bar in this video. And if you people like this video, so press on like button and subscribe to my channel. And sorry about the background voice. So no matter, we are working from home, so this is totally acceptable. So thank you guys. Let's move to our next video, and in the next video I will implement this UI, and in the third video I will implement this UI. Thank you.